What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Holy hijinks.
This week, DJ, we are
Yes.
going to nitpick. We're going to start our month and a half of one whole thing. So we have a theme. I asked a bunch of you guys on Twitter what we should nitpick, because I didn't have any great ideas. And we got a bunch of cool ones from you. Someone suggested something interesting. We worked out the math, and it actually works out pretty well that this thing that we're doing syncs up with a movie that's going to come out in a couple of weeks. Do you want to explain it to the people, DJ?
Surely. So, I believe it's the first weekend in October is the release date for the Joker movie. So, someone had suggested, I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry, but someone had suggested that we go through and just nitpick a bunch of movies with Joker in it. Or did we come up with this ourselves, that we would just do like...
Someone suggested it. I forget. I'm looking it up now. I'm not sure if they suggested a single Joker movie. I think someone said Batman 89 in preparation for the Joker.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna find the tweet.
And then basically we extrapolated that and said, oh, what if we just do pretty much all the movies or media we could find with Joker in it? So the original Batman from 1966, the Batman 1989, Dark Knight, Lego Batman movie, the Arkham games. So you kind of see where we're going with this.
Suicide Squad, Mask of the Phantasm. I think those are the 6 or 7. It was King Recyclops on Twitter said, in preparation for the Joker, I say Batman. And then Colton said, I'll do you one better, The Dark Knight. And then we were kind of like, okay, so I think this works if we do all of them. Including, because we had to do one Mark Hamill one, and then we were, and I kind of already made up my mind that Mask of the Phantasm would be fun, and then it just made sense we need to do the Arkham games too, because they're just really good. So yeah, that's the plan, and we're gonna do them in chronological order, which is the very interesting part, which means we're starting with the one I know the least about. So, yeah, we're doing it's called Batman the movie, right?
I believe so. That. I have it up here. No, it's just Batman. It's just Batman.
But wasn't Batman 89 just Batman?
I guess, but the listing on IMDb for this is Batman, parentheses 1966.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true.
Everything is parentheses.
Is it?
Yeah.
On IMDb for me, it says Batman's colon the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Wikipedia. Wikipedia just says Batman.
Oh,
and
okay.
The poster
you're right.
Just says Batman.
The poster does just say Batman.
Can I read the whole poster? Because it's crazy that there's this much reading on a movie poster.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so this is underlined in red. For the first time on the motion picture screen, in color! Adam West is Batman, Burt Ward is Robin. Together with all their fantastic daring, with all their fantastic daring do and their dastardly villains too. Whoa.
Yeah, what's the confusion about that? They got all the dastardly daring do villains. It's so easy to understand. I think there's a lot about this movie that impressed me. There was a lot of reading.
Yeah.
And even like in the very beginning, there's like some little jokes that they make you read, which is very interesting. Yeah, this was like, the thing that's so strange. So, okay. So we're going to talk about this. We're not going to spoil it because there's nothing to spoil. And if you've had,
pretty
this is the oldest thing we've ever done. So,
oh, that's true. It is the oldest.
It's got to be, right?
Done.
Yeah. We haven't nitpicked like Citizen Kane. So we're just going to talk about this. We have some nitpicks, but I want to talk some general stuff first. So have you ever seen the animated series or have you ever seen the actual like old school Batman 1966 show?
No, this is my first exposure to it, period.
Have you ever seen the animated movie they did recently?
No, I didn't see that either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently they also did comics of this where they like redid villains that they hadn't done, I think. And in that context, so like Scarecrow, I want to say, and like Bane, that's supposed to be pretty good, which I'd love to read sometime. But yeah, that's like, so there's a lot of like Batman 66 media out there. Probably won't be anymore since Adam West is very sadly no longer alive.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, there was a time where they were really like they're really pumping. I mean, they could still make the comics. So I've seen a couple episodes of the show, but I've not seen all of them. And yeah, it's such a weird little thing.
Yeah, it's funny, but also confusing, and parts of it are weirdly like sexy. I don't know why.
Oh, there's so much sex in this. I could not. That was my biggest like takeaway from this. Is like this Batman is the dumbest Batman next to maybe what's his name, the one from The Dark Knight, because I just think Christian Bale Batman is like very dumb a lot of the time. But this Batman is just dumb because he just found this one woman who is pretty, and the entire plot of the movie is dependent on him wanting to have sex with her so badly that he makes every single like mistake possible. It's pretty amazing. It's so like, yeah, this movie came out in
1966.
66. Yeah. It was a real big deal at the time it came out. What was I going to say? It's weird because this movie was like a lot of people's like introduction to Batman, right? Like, and you can see it, I feel like, throughout like time, you know, like, because if you're our age, your first introduction to Batman is probably the Keaton movies or the cartoon or the comics, but like something like that, where they were all kind of the same kind of Batman. And if you're a little bit older than us, it might be the comics, and specifically like The Dark Knight Returns was like the big, the one by the Frank Miller version, which I want to say came out in the early 80s. 86. So yeah. But then before that, it's mostly this. So there are a lot of people that were in Batman movies that they know Batman from this show and probably not much else. And I feel like a lot of that carried over. Like I could see a lot of, Jim Carrey's Riddler taking a lot of inspiration from this Riddler.
That's interesting.
That was the one guy that I was like, oh yeah, he definitely saw this movie and like that inspired this character. The other one was, I mean, because I would say Danny DeVito's Penguin is pretty different, but the Joker from this sounds very similar to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, I was gonna say Heath Ledger Joker. Interesting.
The laugh is almost like identical, kind of.
Yeah, that's fair.
And part of me was like, that's weird, and then I was like, well, actually, that's probably what they consider the Joker. Like when they think back to their childhood, like, oh yeah, that's the Joker. Is this, this weird, like, who is it? Cesar Romero painted over mustache guy, who surprisingly not a huge part of this movie.
No,
this movie is mostly about the Penguin.
Yeah, it's like the Penguin show. It's actually not even clear why the Joker's there, because he's just like a guy. Like at least the Riddler is doing Riddler things. Yeah,
the Joker, even like when they're coming up with the plan where they're kind of working in everybody's thing, the Joker's not really part of it. The Riddler's just almost like throwing him a bone.
The one thing I remember was, I think for a trap they had to fling Batman into the ocean, it was like a Jack-in-the-Box.
Yep.
Like the Joker had a special Jack-in-the-Box.
It was like Riddler was going to lure him with a riddle. Catwoman was going to trick him with her like Russian persona, which we'll get to. The Joker, they were going to get him to stand on the Joker's Jack-in-the-Box, which was going to jettison him into the ocean, where he would get eaten by the Penguin's exploding octopus or something like that.
Yeah. Everything about this movie was about exploding nautical things. So there was a shark filled with dynamite. A porpoise flung himself in front of a torpedo to save Batman and Robin.
A noble porpoise.
Porpoise.
The human-like porpoise or something like that. Oh my god, that was so great.
There was, what else? There was the ducks that were almost blown up by the explosive.
Oh,
the bomb.
yeah.
And the octopus. So everything was about marine life being blown up.
Well, yeah, a shocking amount of this movie takes place in or around water. Pretty much all of it. Which, like, for a Batman movie, if that movie came out today and if this was a serious Batman movie starring the Joker, but the Joker wasn't really a part of it and there was no Gotham City, people would riot. Like, this would be...
It's true.
People would be furious. And I don't I can't quite pin down why it didn't. And like my only explanation is just they had one set that was a submarine, and they were like, well, it's good if the whole movie is here, besides the Batman stuff. And even a lot of the Batman stuff will take place in this submarine. But yeah, because they've really, it's so much water, like so much. And the Penguin, okay. So like we said, the plan, and this movie, there's no plot besides the villains are trying to get Batman, kind of. Like, Batman's not up to anything, really. The part of the plan involves seducing him with Miss Katya, which is, Catwoman disguised as, like, a Russian reporter. Or Kitka, right, yeah. And she, but yeah, Batman's not doing anything. He doesn't have any problems he needs to solve. He's just like, oh, I hope I get these villains, and then they fight the villains. So the whole plot is just the four of them, Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, and the Riddler, are just trying to get Batman, and part of their plan, like in their planning, all takes place in a submarine. They're only above water for one scene when they steal the guys from the UN, right? I think
and it wasn't even the UN. It was like fake UN. It was like World something organization.
Well, it was the World Security Council, which really got me, because then I was like, oh my God, they're all Hydra. We can't trust them. We know from other movies that they're bad. And it's not even the dumbest fake UN in any Batman movie, because in Batman and Robin, there's the United Nations, which is a collection of supervillains, or a collection of, like, evil nation people assembled by the man who is creating Bane to sell them Bane. So, I mean, really, this one's just 9 people shouting at each other in their different languages, which, like, they just shout at each other, but do they know each other's languages?
I don't know. Do they have, like, interpreters or whatever? Or the little thing in the ear so they know what's going on?
I don't think so. And if they did, they'd have to have 9 different, 6 different interpreters or 7 different interpreters at the same time screaming something in their ear. So I don't think they could get the information anyway, but that delay would definitely ruin it. But yeah, they have so the plan, we'll get to it, but that's the whole movie, pretty much. It's just them executing this plan, and Batman and Robin and Alfred, to some extent, reacting to it. It's pretty... I loved it.
I can't believe how long it is. It's almost 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
And a lot of it's just, like, kind of nonsense. Like... It's just like, Batman and Robin talking about, boy, this situation sure is dire, Batman. Batman's like, yeah, we're in a real tough pickle now. Like, there's not a lot of fighting, which makes sense. Any problem is immediately solved by Robin just knowing the answer to every clue. I don't know if that was like a trope in the show, but he knew the answer to every single riddle immediately.
Yeah, that's part of why I kind of think... So we were trying to figure out how seriously the movie takes any of this. That's kind of why I think it's definitely a joke, is because of how all the riddles went. That was my first indication that, like, okay, this isn't even kind of... Like, this movie starts with the bat shark-repellent scene, which on its own is super... Like, even from just being aware of that scene and having seen bits and pieces of it, but never having seen the whole thing in full, it's weird seeing it in its, like, entirety, because it's, like, 2 minutes long. And most of those minutes are, like, Robin climbing the ladder down to get the spray to Batman to, like, hand it to him.
And not only that, the comedy of it all, the shark repellent is not the only repellent they have. They have, like, a ton of nautical repellents.
The Barracuda repellent, the Manta repellent, and something else.
It's impressive.
There's 4 of them. And they're aerosol cans, which, like... That shark is dead by now. It's been out of the water for 2 minutes. There's no way. But it's an exploding shark. But it's like a real sart, right?
Yeah, totes.
Yeah. This penguin's a terrible person. He'll sacrifice all of his animal friends. What's the deal with this penguin?
What do you mean?
So, I always thought, and maybe this is just because of the cartoons, the penguin's penguin theming was more bird than it was fish. And in this, it's all fish, no bird. Except at one point he does say he's going to use carrier pigeons for some part of the plan, I think. So he recognizes birds are a thing. And he has a penguin, like, themed submarine with just, like, penguin decorations in it. But, Yeah, he might as well have been like the dolphin or whatever. He loves the water way more than he loves the land.
This is probably one of the most nautical themed Batman things ever. I don't know if Batman has like a adventure in Atlantis, but there's so much water in this movie. The problems are solved with water.
He doesn't really have any water villains that I can think of besides the Penguin, but like I said, he's way more
King
of
Shark. Is he like a Batman villain?
So like King Shark was originally a Superboy villain that transitioned to a Aquaman and Flash villain.
Okay.
There is a villain called Orca, but she's a Nightwing villain mostly. And besides that, there's none I can even think of. You got Mr. Freeze, who freezes water. But yeah, very few water villains. Even though Gotham City is an island, usually. So
right, it's true.
A water villain would do pretty well.
So maybe he should have more.
Yeah, I think, this plan worked great, and a lot of it just seemed to be because, Batman has a boat, which is a pretty good boat. It's like a little speedboat, but it doesn't, he doesn't have he has Killer Croc. I'm looking at a list of them right now.
Okay.
But, Killer Croc isn't, a water villain, because he usually hangs out in the sewers or above ground. He's usually, Team Muscle.
Right.
But, yeah, I guess he's as close as you get to a full, water-themed Batman villain.
Yeah, and even so, crocodiles are more of a bayou sewer kind of thing.
Right,
Not
yeah.
He didn't have alligator repellent or crocodile repellent, whatever.
Well, that's why. That's why that's why Killer Croc is such an interesting foil for Batman. He can't just repel him away.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He should think about it. But yeah, I always read Killer Croc as the opposite of Batman in the sense of being an urban legend, right? He's alligators in the sewer, and Batman is Bat person, and the people of the city don't believe they exist and do. So I never really thought of him as a villain that was just part water. But besides him, there's none I can think of. There's a guy called Great White Shark, but I don't even think he's shark. I think he's just a gangster. I don't know. I'm trying to find one in the list. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, this movie it's mostly about a submarine.
Can I say something about the submarine, by the way, I found incredible?
Uh-huh.
There's a major point that the movie makes that it's a war surplus submarine that was bought by Mr. P.N. Gwynn.
Right.
Dude, how much is a war surplus submarine? And can I leave a fake name? And how do I get one?
Yeah, without an address, just a P.O. box.
Batman was so,
at one point,
upset.
Batman's trying to solve the riddle, not the riddle, but just trying to solve the problem of, they're in a submarine. And he calls the Navy, and the Navy guy that answers is hey, Batman. And Batman says, did anyone buy a submarine recently? And the Navy guy's yep, it's a guy named P.N. Gwynn. And Batman's do you have an address? And he's nope, just a P.O. box. And Batman gets frustrated with this guy. He's
so
is that a problem, Batman? And Batman's no, everyone knows it's normal to sell a submarine to a man without an address. And then just hangs up the phone. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, because the submarininess of this movie, I don't want to stand on the submarine for too long, but it makes
That's fine.
If I had to guess, if you had to guess what the single line that you would hear most in this movie would be, would you guess it would be yo-ho? Because it is yo-ho. That's all the Joker says. He's just he's confirming things to other characters. And I don't think that's a common, nautical, technical term, but it's just send out the submarines, Joker. Yo-ho, send out the submarines, Goon. Yo-ho, yo-ho, submarines a-go. It's so weird.
Say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's every line is yo-ho. And it's funny because of how into it Joker is. It almost seems
he's so
this
on
Joker
board.
wants to transition to submarine villain. Because he just loves all of the submarine stuff way more than anybody else.
Maybe he wants to become
Penguin.
Batman's nautical themed villain.
I think that's it. I think he wants to buy his own submarine. J.O. Kerr should call the Navy soon before they run out of surplus submarines and get himself a submarine. Same P.O. box too. Why not? Yeah, they just have a submarine. And so they have a submarine. Batman has 3 vehicles in this movie. The first one we see is the Batcopter, which is pretty impressive.
Which is in an airport. It's not at Wayne Manor or whatever.
They have to rent space in an airfield
and
with
under
guys.
Who? BT
I don't
Man?
know.
Is that
yeah, probably. They have
just a P.O. box.
there are like 5 or 6 people that they need to like wheel this helicopter out to them. And then there's 3 of them that just stand there on the airfield as Batman and Robin are taking off in this helicopter. Like, it's a very public thing. And as everyone sees them, they like salute the Batcopter.
Dude, there were women on top of a building in bathing suits just waving to Batman. What the fuck were those women doing there?
I couldn't figure that out either, because that's like the first thing you see in this movie. Because Batman gets a call that some scientist's boat is in trouble and he has to go get it. And they get in the Batcopter and they start flying the Batcopter out to wherever they're going in the middle of the ocean. And they fly it over Gotham, and it goes over just a building with like, I guess like a bikini model photo shoot taking place. Because there's like one guy and 8 or 9 women, and then they all wave at Batman. Batman's like, yep.
It was super confusing. Did not understand that.
Was that happening in the 60s? Any roof?
Women were stranded on top of
ton of
roofs,
beautiful women. Yeah.
in bathing suits, just that's it.
I guess that must be it, because, they all they're waving at Batman. Then he passes 3 police officers who are already saluting him, and then they do their ocean rescue, which is the shark-repellent scene, basically. Which is a weird scene, but it's great, and I'm sure most people have seen it. It's one of 2 things that most people would recognize from this movie.
So a lot of memes came out of this movie. Or not a lot, but like the 2 I knew, like the Batman run the bomb. There's just no good place to get rid of a bomb. And shark repellent are both in this movie.
Yep. Well, obviously, because they're water-adjacent things. Like, I don't think the show takes place around water as much as this movie does. Maybe it was just like, we gotta make a movie where Batman... Wait a second, that's not true, because there's one of the movies where Batman surfs against the Joker, right? So, he's always getting... They just wanted to make an Aquaman show, but they probably couldn't get the... Like, it wasn't enough of a brand, so they were like, all right, we'll do a Batman show, but it'll pretty much just be Aquaman.
So I want to say, so early in the movie, and I thought this was interesting, so they very quickly figure out that the 4 villains who are behind this are the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, and Catwoman. And I forget the riddles that exactly facilitate this, but what I found interesting was they're talking to Commissioner Gordon, and he's like, Batman, do you think that they're going to take over Gotham City? It's like, no. If there's 4 of them, if it was only 1, maybe. What, do you think, the country? It's like, oh, maybe if it was 3, but 4, I think they want to take over the entire world. Like, man, you have a lot of faith in your villains, Batman. Like, they're all just guys. None of these villains are even, like, your super-powered villains. They're just guys with weird gags of money, and you think they could just overthrow the world. And to be fair, they almost get away with it.
Yeah, they get really close, and there's some aspects of their, like... And clearly this world is very stupid, so maybe 4 not stupid people could work together and take over the world.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess.
That doesn't seem that unreasonable.
There's no security anywhere.
Yeah,
you kind of doing whatever.
Rent a submarine, or like buy a submarine.
Buy a war surplus submarine. Do they even have... Is that a real thing? Like, I know there's war surplus, like, boots and knives and shit like that, but I don't think there's war surplus submarines.
And even if there are, I don't think they also come with whatever the surface-to-air missile is that Riddler uses to, like, publicize his riddles. Because, like, at one point, the Joker's like, I'll send him a riddle. So he shoots a big missile into the air, which, like, explodes into, like, skywriting. And gives them, like, 5 or 6 paragraphs, like lines and lines of riddle. It's not, like,
and
one
it's
word.
Neat.
It's like
it's all very neat.
Yeah. So like that's kind of his superpower, if anything. It's like he can make missiles tell secrets or to people, like send messages, which is pretty good. Pretty much nails it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they have the helicopter. They also have a boat, which is at a port, which also is not in the Bat Cave. Like it's not even close.
Right.
But the Batmobile is in the Batcave. It's kind of awkwardly in the middle of it, like it usually is.
There on site.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Well, the Batcave is mostly science equipment in these movies. It's mostly like the Bat radio transmitter device and like the Bat nautical positioning system. So they wouldn't have any space for a boat or a helicopter or anything.
Yeah, it's true.
There's also, like, it's funny because, so the first time they get in the boat, I want to say, there's a really like they get in the boat and it's like what would like these days be a drone tracking shot that follows the boat. And it's kind of impressive. And I was like, oh, wow. And then it cuts to the goofy green screen, like right there, like just right in front of them, kind of shot, which this movie is, and this show is famous for, which is cute. Oh, wait, is there a fourth thing? They also have the Bat Cycle.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about the Bat Cycle.
Which is connected. Robin is in a sidecar that isn't a sidecar. It's actually like a go-kart.
Yeah.
That was weird. Then it's like, well, just let Robin drive his go-kart, Batman. I always thought the reason it was a sidecar was because it's easier, you know, because he's just not allowed to drive because he's a 40-year-old child. But no, it's that he's like it's just that it's a go-kart and Batman's like a power-hungry jerk, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you know what made me thought that this was like real dumb, but there's one point where I think it's at the end of the movie where they're like going down into the Batcave and they have little like fire poles, like fire poles that go down into the Batcave, and one is labeled Bruce and the other is labeled Dick, and I'm like, oh man, it's a good thing his name is actually Dick Grayson, or else that'd be real mean.
Yeah.
Batman's like, hey, this is your pole, you dick. Get on this, you dick.
Well, the fire pole is bizarre. Because I was familiar with the fire pole, I did not know that the way Batman, because it's the way that Batman puts his costume on, which is cute. They get on the fire pole, you see him going down it a little bit, then it's a shot of them pressing a lever that's like change costumes, and then the next shot is them finishing sliding down the fire pole with their costumes on. I didn't realize that's also how they take the costumes off. You get on the fire pole, and then it like shoots you up the fire pole. You press that lever again, and then you come out dressed as your normal self.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we need the technology today. It is just pretty cool.
And like, so that, I think, you see, it's funny. I'm excited to watch Lego Batman movie again, knowing all of this stuff, because I want to look in the Batcave and like see how much of this weird nonsense is in there.
Right.
'Cause I bet there's a lot that I didn't quite recognize. I mean, I recognize like a fire pole because I know that's a Batman thing, but there's other stuff that did kind of catch me by surprise. Okay. I wanted to go over this too. So you got Alfred is in this movie, kind of. He's like barely. There. He just has to drive Master Dick around a little bit because he's too young. And there's also a character named Aunt Harriet. Have you ever heard of her before?
No, not even a little.
So I have read or heard, but I don't know this firsthand. But I believe they like when they pitched this show, someone like at the marketing was like, or like someone higher up in the studio was like, this is a really gay show. Like we can't have these three men all living alone. Can you put a woman in there? Just doesn't matter who, but we need some woman in there. And that's where they invented that character from. Because there's no precedent for her in the comics. It doesn't,
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what they did.
Stay woke.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, listen, I have no idea what purpose she serves in the movie, or in like the show, but they like knew how useless she was in this to just ignore her.
Right. That's not what the people came here for.
I don't see how anyone could not. This is the most sexual Batman that's ever existed.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
After Batman does nothing, like they don't save this scientist, and they don't get any information about him. They just have a fight with a shark. After that, he holds a press conference with Robin, and they take no questions about either of those two things. So I don't know what the press conference, information it was supposed to send to the world. But he sees Miss Kitya, a Russian reporter, and then he like immediately falls in love with her.
Yeah, it's a pretty weak move, Batman.
Maybe he just doesn't get out much, I guess. But like, yeah, and that's all part of the plan to seduce him, right? Or is the plan always to seduce him, or do they go like, oh wow, he's got the hots for you, let's make seduction?
No, yeah, it's almost like a last minute thing because he's like, I demand to see her, and they're like, all right, I guess so. And I don't even know why they let him. Oh, because he's running around the room like an idiot. So they're like, all right, we just got to let this fool just like do his thing because he's being real stupid.
Well, but also before that, he takes her on the date. So like the date is the way that they're going to trap him. So I guess it was part of the plan. But like,
why? This is like why?
because he just wants to get some. And that's this Batman's whole motivation. Kidnapping Robin, putting him in death trap probably wouldn't get Batman to your secret whatever meeting or whatever. You have to find a hot lady and put her next to Batman. And it's the only way you can catch him like off guard.
I guess so.
Like, yeah, but that blew me away.
Thinking with his dick, man. It's Batman's, and it's never like a weakness for Batman. Batman's always like so level-headed. It's like, has that ever been a problem? Or, well, I guess except for Talia al Ghul.
I would say in the early Batman movies, there was a fair amount of that. Batman's 1, 2, and 3. So like 89, which we'll get to with Vicky Vale, not as much of a problem for Batman, but just he was in love with this reporter. Returns with Catwoman was like kind of similar. And that's why I think like Catwoman was also very influenced by this version of her from the show. But then, whatever's her name, Chase Meridian, played by Nicole Kidman for Batman Forever, I would say is the closest they've gotten in the newer Batman movies to really turning Batman into like a lovesick, kind of puppy dog who's just...
Yeah. And is that a comic thing?
I think sometimes he does that. Yeah.
All right.
They just finished, like, they're in the middle of a storyline right now where Batman is like, where I guess not this. I'm not going to spoil the comic, but a part of a villain's plan involves tricking Batman with like using Batman's love as part of a trick. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think they do it enough. It's not what he's known for, but, in this, you'd have to assume, because, like, there's characters like Daredevil who just, like, their love life is a humongous part of their, like, they're always dating the villains or whatever. But, like, there's other characters like Spider-Man where there's, like, Black Cat, and then that's kind of it. And then he's all business. And Batman doesn't have a lot of female villains in general. So they always have to work in, I guess, like, side characters, right? Like your Vicky Vales or your Chase Meridians to be his... love interest, because there's just Catwoman. She's the only real, like, femme fatale. He's got Harley now, but they don't, they have a very, very, like, professional relationship.
Yes, we keep everything professional.
Yeah, I mean, he punches her in that one movie, which we'll get to, but besides that, it's very, they especially now in, like, the Injustice games, they're very, like, hey, Harley, what's up? Okay, let's go to business. Okay, so Batman and Robin, what do they do in this movie? So, okay.
We haven't talked about the plot at all. We should probably do that.
No, yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's no plot. It's just the villain. Batman wants to have sex with Miss Kittia, and the villains devise a plan to steal him. So, weirdest... I think... No,
go ahead. No, you go.
I think the weirdest part of this movie for me is Robin. Just because his relationship with Batman, he's just frustrated. And, like, when Batman is on a date, Robin is not happy.
No.
He wants that date to end.
Because how old is he supposed to be? I know he looks like he's 40, but
he can't drive, right? Like, I think that must put him under 18. So
it's under like 16. Like he's like 15 or some shit like that.
Yeah, and it was the 60s.
Which is kind of
like 10-year-olds drive. Yeah, like he's super young. And I wonder how old Burt Ward was in 1966. Let's see, because maybe he was really. I don't think he was really young, but he's, like, still kicking now. 1945. So he was in his 20s. He was 21 when they filmed this.
Oh, wow.
Much older.
Yeah.
All that mask really conceals his identity.
Age, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
And he's, like, 20-ish years younger than Adam West, so they got that pretty right, too.
Yeah.
Way to go. So, at one point they go on a date. Bruce Wayne and Miss Kittia. And they're on a carriage ride, a like 2-hour carriage ride or something like that, where Batman is just like smelling her and like he's super weird. Bruce Wayne has no game whatsoever. Although like he dresses in an interesting way, but besides that, he just kind of is there. And Batman Robin in full Robin garb, and Alfred in full normal Alfred outfit plus a mask are tailing this horse-drawn carriage in the Batmobile from about 10 feet away. And they can watch the date. And Robin's like, oh, no, I don't know if I want to watch the date. It seems wrong. And I would really like... But even though that's the plan is like, you guys watch the date so I don't get kidnapped. And Robin just can't handle it. But also, like, you would figure Batman wouldn't be trying to have sex with Miss Kitya so much if he knew Robin was watching this.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Him being such a horn dog is really what messes this up too, because he's making Robin uncomfortable, which is why Robin doesn't recognize that he is stolen when he is stolen. But also, so let's talk about the villain's plan, because I love this plan. The plan is to steal a famous millionaire and use him as bait to trap Batman. And the millionaire they land on is Bruce Wayne. It's terrific.
Yeah, I mean, what a coincidence. He's probably the only one. He's probably the only billionaire who exists.
I was going to say, well, it's him and Penguin. So, yeah, they can't... Although, I don't know, maybe they don't know he's Penguin. Maybe they think his real name is Penguin and not like Oswald Cobblepot or whatever.
Penguin.
But, they go to... So, like, they capture Bruce Wayne, and then they just, like, wait. And Bruce Wayne is like, uh-oh, I don't think Batman's gonna come. And they're like, how do you know? And he's like, just guessing. I think it's worth, considering you're not going to get him. But the best part of the whole movie, I think, is they don't realize that Bruce Wayne is Batman, right? Batman also doesn't realize that Miss Kitya is Catwoman until the very end. So during this whole ordeal where they kidnap him, Batman is still like, but where's Miss Kitya? What have you done with her, you foul creatures?
You fiend.
Yeah.
That's all he cares about. It's all he fucking cares about. Oh, Batman's such a clown.
Russian reporter. Yeah, he's such a dork. Yeah. Oh man. What else is fun that happens in this movie?
You know what's interesting? This movie, and I don't know the Batman stuff super well. I know all the tropes, but it doesn't have the punch to face and then kerplow thing to so you don't see the punching. None of that happens.
You get a little bit of it at the end, but
yeah,
it's
they
just
overlay
written
it
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was interested in that too. Do you think it's just because they wanted to, in a movie, they could show the punching?
Yeah, maybe the TV requirements were different than movie requirements. You could actually show a fake punch on TV.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Might be it. Maybe the director was just like, I'm gonna go crazy. Batman is going to be wrecking it. And Emily was kind of saying this when we watched it. She was like, it looks like a play. They're stage fighting as if we're watching a live play in front of us.
Right? That's the best they could do.
And they're great because it's so you got, and it's funny because all the Batman, these aren't Adam West is in good shape for Batman, I guess. He's not in amazing shape, but he's I think when this came out, he was probably in his mid-30s. But Burgess Meredith and Cesar Romero aren't in fighting shape, I guess. So you do kind of have to be it's just two 40-year-olds just rolling around. They're not actually fighting. There's really just a bunch of
doing their best.
Pirate goons. That's the thing. The Penguin in this movie is a pirate. That's kind of his whole deal. He's not the Penguin. He's Mr. Pirate with a nice hat and a long cigar or cigarette.
Yeah.
Because his
much.
They don't wear penguin costumes. They just wear those striped shirts and bandanas that you'd see on a pirate in a cartoon.
And then they're guinea pig 1, guinea pig 2, guinea pig. Remember that part? Where they
oh my god, with their little GP and they're not guinea pigs either. They're part of the plan. Yeah. Right?
They're not testing this on them. They're they're being used for the plan.
I thought they were going to kill him, and then they were going to be dead. I thought them turning into sand was bad. And then he's like, scoop him up. We need him. And he said, do you remember what he said as he's scooping them up? So, okay. So the part of the plan involves a dehydrating ray that's used in a whiskey distillery, which, again, speaking of things that I think have influenced other Batman movies, I think this kind of follows the microwave emitter in Batman Begins, which is a machine that just messes up the water in a thing.
Oh, true.
I could see that directors being let's put in a microwave emitter as a little joke. Because they also just steal that. Well, do you remember where they steal that from is in a boat, too, in the movie. Yeah, it's just being shipped and they just get it.
Man.
and they turn it on in the boat, and then the boat starts like exploding around them. It's a dumb scene in Batman. I love Batman Begins. That's I don't know if they know what a microwave emitter does, what water is. Like, this movie seems to have a better grasp on what water is than Batman Begins. But again, it's just because the water is such a big part of this movie. So yeah, he melts them all into 5 like piles, and it's such a bad effect, but it's funny because they can't move while they're doing it. They also can't react to the other ones being melted, so they're all just like at attention. They just ride or die for Penguin. Then he's like, okay, so scoop them up and put them in these vials. And Catwoman does it. And he's like, now be careful. They have mothers. That's the line he says.
Yeah.
You can't
and,
kill
like,
them because
sneeze. That's like the other
Yeah,
one.
that's right. That's what it is. And she's dropping sand left and right. She's not doing a good job.
So I have a question with this. So yeah, the idea of this, and it's kind of crazy, but whatever. The idea is that it could turn a person into powder, basically. That's like, right, the one-liner. That's what this thing does.
Yep.
Now, do you need all the powder to get, like, a new person? Like, what if you miss a few things of powder? Do you get, like, someone missing a hand? How does that work?
I think that's right. I think they would come out with, like, parts missing or just, like...
Oh, no, my liver. You missed my liver dust.
They just
Because you're not going to get all the dust. Some dust, because, like, it wasn't super careful. They were using, like, a little, like, fucking... mini
like
broom and a dustpan.
Yeah, and no, it's weird. It's a dustpan and like a large paintbrush in the movie. Like, that's the prop they're using. I don't know if they lost the broom. But yeah, they dehydrate these guys, put them in 5 separate vials, create this like weird rig of tube to vial stuff, and then purposefully get Penguin caught. I mean, I guess if they exploded Batman, would that have been fine? Do you think they'd been like, oh, good? Because that's where the bomb happens as well.
Well, and they wanted to explode Batman, right? They were going to spring him into the ocean with the octopus thing.
That's right, yeah.
That's what they wanted. So, yeah, their whole thing is always blowing up Batman. Shark filled with TNT, octopus filled with dynamite. We got to blow up Batman. The bomb.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell when they do the shark, the first one, if it actually exploded or if that was just like a joke. And then they say it exploded, so it did explode. But yeah, then after that, they're just like, yeah, we got to blow them up. Let's use all our... Like, really, this movie should have had... Like, I'm trying to think of what the good villains would be. Because, yeah, Batman doesn't have any pirate villains. Though there is a pirate Batman floating around. I'm trying to think if there's a Batman villain that's mostly explosions. But yeah, it should have been those two guys. It definitely should. It's just so funny how this Joker just doesn't matter. He's so he's so redundant in all of these plans.
It is worth
the Riddler
saying,
also laughs, you know?
Yeah, and has his riddles. Yeah, I guess it's worth saying, since we're gonna be doing like the Joker deep dive or whatever. It's kind of crazy how this is like the least Joker in like any of the movies. Right, like it doesn't feel anything like the Joker. He could have been like the pirate goon. That could have been his whole thing. Like, when they're firing the torpedoes, yeah, like you said, he goes ahoy or yo ho or whatever. It's like 4 times. I
mean, listen, Cesar Romero is delightful in this, but yeah, it's maybe. So I'm trying to think. So this movie came out in 1966. This show also came out in 1966. Which one came first?
Oh my god, you think the movie came first? Oh man.
Well, then they have no excuse, because then that means they started with all this nonsense instead of the alternative, which would be like starting with the show, doing a bunch of Joker stuff, then being like, okay, well, this movie won't be about the Joker. Like, we'll put the Joker on the sideline for a little bit. Like, I could see that being a thing. Okay, so this movie premiered July 30th, 1966. Let's do
summer blockbuster for 1966, huh?
I bet this was the biggest thing ever. Like, I could see this just killing.
So I think the show started in January 1966 and went until March of 1968. So they did like 7 months of this, and then but they must have planned the movie and this, like, they must have known, you know.
This is some Disney Plus shit right here. We're gonna do movies and TV shows and big events and stuff.
This is the first cinematic universe back in 1966. Holy crap.
Very good. And look how far DC has come.
That's true.
I guess this is when there were like 2 TV shows on at a time. So they could just probably reasonably assume everyone on the planet saw all the episodes of the Batman show, you know?
Yeah, right.
It's not like now
when the
where
movie comes out, it was, man, can you imagine? They only had 7 months of hype. Like, they must have planned the movie just being like, well, I hope everyone likes this. Hopefully people are all in on Batman.
I wonder how, because there was a Batman show, like, back in the day, in, like, the black and white one, you know?
Okay.
I believe there was. There was a Superman show. Batman, now I'm wondering, because that's the thing that I think is so weird about this Batman. It's just like, this is, like, for up until 1986, right, which you could say is kind of the turning point with Dark Knight Returns. Batman was kind of this. Like, he wasn't serious, super smart, you know, cool guy Batman, which is, like, all of our lives, Batman has been what Batman is today, to some extent. Like, he's been more and less campy, depending on what show, you know, like, there's, like, the Brave and the Bold show, which is, like, a goofy cartoon, and there's the movies with, like, the Riddler and Mr. Freeze and whatever. But more or less, he's been this, like, serious, dark figure with all kinds of, like, you know, just, cares about his dead parents and whatever. Like, the parents don't come up in this at all.
No.
You would never know.
He's the happiest Batman. He's, like, the most chipper Batman. No edginess, nothing.
Yeah. So, like, it's so interesting how, for most people, this was Batman. And now, it's the opposite of that. And I think if right now you went, you know what, this new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, it's just gonna be a comedy. Like, it's just gonna be a straight, goofy, campy, whatever. Like, people would be furious. People are so mad when Batman isn't grim and serious and whatever. And it's just not, like, it's important to the character now, but it was never it's not even close to this. And, like,
yeah,
Batman showed up in the 40s, right? I think he's, like, somewhere in the early 40s. So they had only had Batman for 26 years at this point in history. So we have had Batman much longer, and Batman has been Dark Grim 86 Batman for, you know, pushing not 40 years, maybe 35 years. So it's interesting that, like, it's interesting, this timeline of Batman.
I guess,
but, like,
I'm
trying to think. Let's see, Batman in the 70s.
You have other superheroes now who could fill other niches. You don't need just a super edgy Batman. Like, that could be part of it.
That's true.
And, like, but we'll never have, like, a cheery Batman ever again. It'll never be like this. I can't imagine. Unless DC wanted to. Unless DC did, like, the what if, like Marvel's doing, and, like, what if Batman were just happy, but not like the Joker got to him, just like, you know, a happy guy.
Well, have you ever watched the Brave and the Bold show, the cartoon?
No, I haven't.
Kind of recent. It's like, it's supposed to be, it's kind of the closest you can get to that in modern day. It's pretty funny. It's got, like, it's further in than even this in terms of just, like, being goofy and silly. Probably because it's now, which means it has all of this serious Batman to kind of reflect on. But yeah, like, it's just so bizarre. And yeah, this Joker, so things this Joker does in the movie. When he meets the guys that he's already in the room with, so he meets Penguin and Riddler, he does Joy Buzzer to them, right?
Yeah.
I want to say he does a sword fight at one. Oh no, that's a Penguin thing too. So he does Joy Buzzer. And then, does he do any other Jokery stuff? Like any other pranks or, like, you know, stuff like that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither. That's interesting.
He laughs a lot, and but he's not. They could have made him the ringleader, but he's not the ringleader.
Well, even the Riddler laughs a lot too.
Yeah, it's true. Catwoman's the only one who's, like, serious. The Penguin laughs a lot too.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's pretty, like, I would say that's pretty in line with the comics. It's just Catwoman is tired of all their shit. Like, she just, you know, she's above it. But I would say, like, if you took the costumes away, and you put the Riddler and the Joker in a scene, and you were just like, guess which one's the Riddler, which one's... You'd never know. You'd just be like, I guess they're both Joker? I don't know. Because they're both laughing, and I get, oh, that one said Riddle. Okay, that one's the Riddler. I get it now. But yeah, it's like, it's not... It's such a weird... And, like, but this... I'm assuming in the show, this Joker was better. Like, everyone loved him, and he had, like, great stuff. Because I don't know, I'm wondering... Historically, how much of a part of Batman and, like, the Joker was their relationship, was he always one-to-one, like, you are my main enemy?
That's a good question. I don't...
Because maybe he wasn't. Maybe that was a move that was made at some point, and then, let's see. I mean, I don't pretend to be an expert on comics, but I definitely am not an expert on, like, old Batman stuff, and DC in general, unless, less of a aficionado on. So he showed up in Batman #1 in 1940, so he's been around forever.
Just that legacy shit, man. You get to be, like, the head guy with all that legacy stuff.
So, okay, this is interesting. We're going to learn a lot about the Joker. Okay. Credit for the Joker's creation is disputed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Although he was planned to be killed off during his initial appearance, the Joker was spared by editorial intervention, allowing the character to endure as the archenemy of the superhero Batman. So I guess they were like, this guy's cool, we'll hold on to him. In the comic book appearance, this is all from the Wikipedia page, but I'm sure this is pretty legit because it's the Joker. Like, people check this one. In his comic book appearances, the Joker is portrayed as a criminal mastermind. Introduced as a psychopath with a warped, sadistic sense of humor, the character became a goofy prankster in the late 1950s in response to regulation by the Comics Code Authority, before returning to its darker roots during the early 70s. So yeah, he's been kind of all over the place. And I guess, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Jason Todd died in the 70s. So there were darker Batman stories in the 70s. I've always kind of understood dark Batman. I always heard that, like, the dark Batman era started with The Dark Knight Returns. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, he was silly in, like, the Silver Age, I guess. Which is interesting. But also, I guess there have been a lot of different Jokers with different origins, and, like, the character has been pretty inconsistent. Like, you can do kind of whatever you want with him, which is maybe why he's kicked around for so long. Yeah. I don't think this Joker will go down as the worst Joker ever, but just, like, put up pound for pound against all the other Jokers we're going to talk about. He's probably I have a feeling he's going to end up as second worst behind, obviously, the worst one, Suicide Squad Joker.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just because all the other Jokers after him are so great. Although, to be fair, if he was the main character of this movie, I could see liking him more than Jack Nicholson Joker, because we'll get to it next week, but I don't really care too much for that character.
It's just like the most boring Joker. I think it's my problem. Like, there's nothing to this Joker. There's nothing there.
This guy's weird painted on mustache, or like he has a mustache in real life, and they wouldn't shave it, so he painted over with white.
And he gets a lot of like close-ups with the camera.
Yeah.
So it's not like from far away, it does kind of blend away, but when the camera's right there, it's like, oh, that's pretty obvious.
Yep. He's pretty strange.
But to be fair, I guess this proves that DC has a long history of mustaches in movies and having to obscure them in various ways.
That's true. It came full circle.
Yeah.
And honestly,
it wasn't just a 1966
I think they might have gotten it right. And the first time, like, I think the Joker version is better than the Justice League one.
You think so?
I do. Because, I don't know. I think the Justice League one, you can see from a mile away, but you can kind of be convinced that the Joker one, you're like, maybe he's just growing a mustache right now or something. Like, you could be like, maybe he has a white mustache. I don't know. But it's just so unnatural. The deep fake one, I hate it. I gotta get rid of that.
In due time. We'll get there.
Soon. Let's see, what else about this movie? Oh, so the bomb thing. Do you want to explain the bomb scene?
Where he's running around with it?
Yeah.
So I can't exactly remember. Again, I can't remember every part of this movie because it's all over the place. How does he exactly wind up with the bomb? Like, it's a round bomb. With
a sparkler.
Yeah, sparkler. Yeah.
It's in the hideout. I think the villains leave it for him.
Oh, right, because they're like, it's just in the middle of a place. And like, Batman will have to take this bomb and go somewhere.
Because I guess I kind of forget this, but they have two bases of operations. One's the sub and one's like a marina. And it's in the marina it's almost like they're renting the upstairs of a bar, because that's where the bomb is, and that's where the bomb scene takes place. But anyway, go on.
So they leave him the bomb, and he's like, oh, fuck, a bomb. And they he has to dispose of his bomb because that's what Batman does. And he's running around. There's a great YouTube video. You can look it up. He's running around the town trying to like get rid of the bomb. There's an old lady and there's a baby carriage. And at one point he's going to throw it into the ocean, sure. And there's a bunch of ducks in the water. He's like, oh, I can't do that. And then he drops this beautiful line. It's got to be one of the best lines in the movie. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yep. Again, speaking of further influence of Batman movies, that's how The Dark Knight ends, or Dark Knight Rises ends, with Batman trying to get rid of a bomb, right?
Yep.
Like, I really think a lot of these writers were like, we'll make some sort of, like, or like they were just like, I watched this as a kid. This is what I think a Batman thing is. So, like, obviously he needs to have a bomb that he's, like, running around Gotham City with. And it has to be just a circle. The funniest thing about that scene, because there's like nuns, there's like a woman with a baby carriage, and then one of the things that he can't throw a bomb at is well, first of all, I want to say I'm pretty sure he thinks about letting the bomb, or like Robin's like, it's fine. This building is only filled with drunks. Just let the bomb explode. And then Batman's like, no, even the drunks deserve a shot at redemption, Batman, or Robin. And Robin's like, oh, man, I'm the worst. And then...
That's so nice of you.
A couple of times, Batman, accidentally bumps into the same three-man circus, or not circus, parade. Like, it's like a guy on like a horn, a guy on a drum, and then another guy, I don't remember what he's doing. But they're just, like, marching up and down the dock that this is all taking place on. And that was the one that really got me. It's like, oh, man, this is something special. Yeah. But, yeah, it's pretty good. He doesn't kill the ducks, which is nice.
No, it was nice of him. Although, like, I guess he didn't ask the porpoise to sacrifice itself. It was a noble porpoise.
Right, yeah, the porpoise took it upon himself to sacrifice himself.
Yeah. He made that decision.
So then, okay, so weirdest part of the movie for me, the Penguin at the base. So then Penguin's plan is to get captured and re-water these guys and then have a fight with Batman in the Batcave, a thing that people know exists. He doesn't seem to have been there before, or maybe he has been there.
I don't know. Yeah,
because they would take him there. It's not like they wouldn't. It just he has to like trick them into thinking. He's got this very clever double play thing where he's like, I'll make them think that I want to go, or I don't. Like, I don't even. It's fine. But he dresses up like a sea captain. But he keeps his silly monocle, even though Sea Captain has a monocle too. But he also keeps his long cigarette. They immediately know he's Penguin, and then they take him to the Batcave and just like let him do what he wants. They're like, all right, stay right there. We're gonna use this one of our 50 machines. And then he goes and gets a drink of water and reforms his goons. But then what happens with his goons? I think this is the weirdest part of the movie.
What were they the dust?
Yeah, when so Batman uses hard water in his base of operations.
Oh, right. So yeah, they punch. This is so weird. This is the weirdest part of the movie. So they get into the fight and it's like, oh no, they're going to get us. Robin, what do we do? And they initiate the fight and they have no troubles because when they hit them once, they vanish.
Yep.
They vanish.
Even like 2 high five or something, and then they also both vanish. And the Penguin's like, what is it? That doesn't make sense. And Batman's like, I forget how they figure this out, but Batman's like, we'll use hard water here, not soft water. And the hard water mixed with their dehydrated state turned them into antimatter, and they exploded on contact. So we can't mess with the laws of nature, Robin.
They figured that out immediately.
That's one of the 2 lessons of the movie, is don't mess with the laws of nature. And the other one at the very end with the United Nations guys is like, if everyone spoke to each other, maybe the world would be better. Yeah, exactly.
Don't mess with the laws of nature, but sometimes do, because it might make the world a better place if you do.
And then that's the final plan of the villains is go and steal the 9 members of the World Security Council, which are 9 countries. Can you guess them? I have a list of them.
All right. U.S.
Yep.
France.
Yep.
Nigeria.
Yep.
Those are the ones I remember. The UK.
Yep.
Germany.
West Germany, 1966, yes.
Oh, shit. West Germany.
West Germany. Blast from the past.
How many am I at?
You got 4 left.
Oh, God.
You're doing good.
Like the Netherlands?
Nah.
China's not one, is it?
It is not, but Japan is.
Japan. Okay.
Yep.
South Korea? South Korea one of them?
Nah. You got, after that, you got Spain.
Oh,
the
Spain.
USSR. And I think not the weirdest one, but the one that seemed to be the most stereotypy, Israel. Because this kind of was like an awful, it's a small world after all version of all these countries. What's like, it seemed like it would be. I honestly don't know what 1966 politics looked like, but it seemed like and so. Can you describe what a World Security Council meeting looks like?
Oh, it's
what's
very
actually
small.
Going on.
Well, they're just yelling at each other. It seems like they're just yelling and arguing at each other
languages.
The whole time. Yes.
With no translators.
So I guess
can see.
I guess they're just hoping that whoever shouts the loudest can figure it out.
Yeah. And then they all get dehydrated. Unlike the goons, they all turn into different colors of dust. Very important detail.
Why? Why are they all different colors? Is it so we know who's who?
Maybe the colors are like races. If you're from the US, you have green dust, but if you're from the UK, you have yellow dust.
Yeah, that was super unclear.
Yeah, but it's when I say dust, I mean like that stuff that you would put into like plastic jars in like levels as like an art project when you were 10. Yep. It's that. So they steal these guys, they bring them down to the submarine, and then Batman and Robin's final play, which I couldn't believe how this movie actually ends, is just they get in the Batboat and they bomb this submarine to smithereens. Like they're like, we'll force them to surface if we just hit them with enough of these super whatevers. They're not like torpedoes, right? They're like energy beams or something.
Yeah. It was good on them, though. They killed it.
I mean, it worked. There was a while where Catwoman was like, don't do it. We'll die down here like heroes or whatever. And then one of the more cowardly villains, it almost seemed like she tricked the cowardly villain. Like they played into Batman's hand. But the alternative was die at the bottom of the ocean. So really, Catwoman was wrong to do that. And the only reason that Batman and Robin found them was because, and this was good, this is some good Batman for you, the Riddler couldn't help but give a riddle. And everybody, all the other villains were like, no, come on. And he's like, I got it, I'm the Riddler.
It's my thing.
Yeah.
It's staying on brand. That is the most staying on brand, by the way. Good for him.
I like the Riddler in this, besides the fact that he, just because of that, and his actors clearly, and look, I like just the actors in this were having so much fun.
Yeah.
His character changed clothes a bunch. He had his goofy leotard with a bunch of question marks. He had a suit with a big question mark tie, I think, and a question mark on the back. And then he also had a leotard with one question mark. So I was excited just to see what Riddler would be wearing next scene. So then Batman and Robin beat them in a bunch of, they punch up with a fist fight on the, top of the submarine, right? Yeah. With, just punching. At one point, Batman gets a sword. I forget where he gets that from, but he has a little sword fight with Penguin.
And, they pretty much win. The fight, I think that last fight's where they over, like the pow, kablam, whatever. But, you know, I think it's, only the third fight in the whole movie, with, in an almost 2-hour Batman movie. This movie's almost 2 hours. I could not believe that.
Yeah, I guess because most of the action in this movie is vehicle-related. It's mostly someone's in a vehicle going from something to something. I guess, do you consider the 2 minutes of Robin climbing a ladder to get to Batman with the shark repellent an action scene? Because that probably, in 1966, was an action scene.
Yeah, because he does, acrobatics on it. People were probably wigging out. They're like, this is amazing. How does he do it? And,
and then the movie ends. Oh, wait, no. The most important thing, they accidentally, in the middle of this bombing raid, they knock over the sand. All the separate sand gets mixed together, and then they're like, oh no, now we're gonna have to make one big blob, one humongous gelatinous blob of the 9 members of the Security Council. But they do science and separate them.
I think it was a centrifuge. I could have sworn I heard the word centrifuge.
I think you're right. They had people should go online and find this. If you look at the Bat, I don't know if the Bat Batcave is always like this, but the Batcave in this movie, because like in the cartoons and in the show and like the movies, the Batcave is usually the car, a computer, the suits, like, you know, some memorabilia, big old Tyrannosaurus, and like a giant coin from whatever villain he got it from. But in this, it's because all the suits are in the pole, so you can't put them in there. It's just 50 different machines that would, in the 80s, all be done. Like, the job of them would all be done by a single computer.
You'd have one IBM machine, and that's it.
Yeah. So they're doing all this, so much of this movie is Batman and Robin doing a science experiment. It's bizarre. And they're, you know, they managed to separate the United Nation guys.
And then we get the moral of the movie.
What's the moral of the story, DJ?
That because, so at the end, they're all having like peace talks. Like that's all the members of the Security Council before they were arguing. Now they're like, oh, all they're saying is talking about peace. And Batman's like, you know what? Sometimes when minds meld, good things happen. So implying that some dust particles got like put together and their minds were fused.
Did you not catch why they're having peace talks now?
No,
there's a reason.
Oh, I must have missed it. What was the reason?
They all have each other's languages mixed up.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yep. So like it's such a weird choice, but like the I want to say the American guy is speaking whatever language the Nigerian guy was speaking. I'm trying to remember the others. The only other one that sticks out is the one they gave West Germany, which seems like a mistake, but he got a language that you wouldn't guess. But like people are shouting like peace and stuff, but it's because they're all speaking each other's language and stuff, and it's a really interesting little thing.
That's how you get the peace. But the only reason is because the particles were mixed together, which is real dumb.
Yeah. We should do that. We should mix all their particles together.
Oh,
whatever, 190 nations or whatever.
Did we mention that like the whole world was listening in while this whole thing was happening? Because like the president's on the phone.
Oh yeah, Lyndon Johnson, like back of his head, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, and because like everyone's like Batman and Robin are commencing the whatever, so the whole world is like listening in as Batman and Robin save the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, this wasn't a plan to take over the world. It was a plan to get a lot of money because they were just holding him for ransom. So
right, wasn't it like $1 million or $1 billion per country or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. So they just wanted money.
Yeah,
could have given it to him.
I mean, the alternative was maybe kill 9 world leaders. Like, they weren't even going to kill them on purpose. They also seem like they might have killed them by accident. So it almost is like the hostage situation part of it doesn't really matter. It's almost like pay to get it away from them because these guys are in danger whether we give, like, you know, the longer they sit with these idiots.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, too. The only reason they turned them into water is because it's real easy to kidnap them.
Yes. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this. Speaking of the kidnapping scene, when they turn him into water, all the villains wear masks, even the ones that don't wear masks in that scene. The Joker and the Penguin both have little bandana masks like the Ninja Turtles wear, which is pretty good.
What a movie. I enjoyed watching it. Having never seen it before, and, you know, it was a good watch. It's
a weird little thing. I don't think it's, like, great. No, you know what? It's great. It's, like, as, like, a... It's great just to see it and then be like, oh yeah, Batman was this for like 23 years. Up until, 23 years as far as movies go. Up until 89, the Batman the world mostly knew was this guy, which is just insane.
Yeah, it's pretty clutch.
So yeah, let's rate the Joker on a scale of on a scale of yo-ho to... Why so serious? I don't know what the high and low mark for Jokers is.
It's got a lot.
On a scale, yeah, he did laugh a lot, which is good because that's something that. And he said like lines that were like he would say like this is a joke or like you're making a joke or something, which is something that I know the Suicide Squad Joker does not do. Or like there's a lot of things that Suicide Squad Joker doesn't do, and that's one of them. He laughs pretty good. I think his laugh is probably one of the best laughs out of all the Jokers.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. I think Jack Nicholson's is probably the worst, but then like they all get really good, like Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger, like good Joker laughs.
I'm gonna rate this Joker I'll give him a yo-ho. I'll give this Joker a yo-ho.
Yo-ho is good or bad?
So I think for the movie he's good. Like I don't know, it's a fine baseline Joker. It is slightly annoying that he doesn't do any Joker things. It's just that he does villain things. But like as a character, like he's fine.
Yeah, his look was good. I bet he was better on the show, but in this movie, he was the least important of the 4 villains. Yeah, but he's fun. I don't know, Cesar Romero doing his thing. And the funny thing is, like I guess they always do this, but they always had like overqualified actors, like Cesar Romero.
He's like a legit actor,
and like Burgess Meredith, and I forget the name of the dude who does Riddler. But like, yeah, they maybe that's where this kind of like this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like trend continued, where you could get like Jack Nicholson, like one of the biggest actors on the planet, to be your Joker, because it's just like this really, really popular character, and you're like, oh yeah, he was the man back in the day. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll give this Joker I'll give him 6 yo-hos out of 10.
All right.
But maybe
I'll give him 5.5. 5.5 yo-hos.
I like him, but he could probably be improved. All right. Do you want to get to a classic segment, teacher?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
I got 2 quick recs.
Let's hear them.
So we have Nickelodeon 90s nostalgia currently on Netflix. So there's 2 quote unquote movies. They're longer than episodes, but one, there's Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling, and the other is Invader Zim Enter the Florpus, I think. So yeah, just one off 90s Nick getting right in your nostalgia brain. I liked them both. Give them both a watch. I think the Rocco one's like 40 minutes, and the Invader Zim's a little over an hour. So you can knock them both down in like 2 hours. I like the Rocco's Modern Life one more. It was cool because like
really,
yeah. Did you watch them?
I have not watched Invader Zim one yet. I'll probably watch that. As a child, I'm pretty sure I wasn't allowed to watch Rocco's Modern Life. And then as an adult, not like as an adult, but when I got a little bit older, I was like, let's see if this is any good. And I just couldn't do it.
Okay. So I really like Rocko's Modern Life. I thought the movie was pretty good. Or like the Static Cling feature, whatever you want to call it, was good. My thing with Invader Zim was, I don't know if there's... I've never seen an Invader Zim movie if one existed prior to this, but Invader Zim works way better in, like, short bursts because they're all, like, little gags and they're funny. But this one's a kind of, like, one long gag with a lot of stuff in the middle, and it's kind of too long, so it's not as good. It's still, like, worth a watch, but I thought, because the Rocko's Modern Life one was short, it had a lot of jokes, it had a lot of callbacks to other episodes, and it was kind of... The Rocko's one was definitely more of a nostalgia beat, and it was kind of meta, because the whole point of the Rocko's Modern Life one is about Rocco's favorite show is like canceled and he's trying to get it back after being away in space for 20 years. So
gotcha.
It's just a meta thing, but it's funny and it's good. And there's actually like, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but when it happens, you're like, whoa, I did not see this coming even a little bit. And it's pretty good.
They get the original Teen Titans back in this one too?
Yeah, and it's like, Titans, we're coming. And you're like, whoa.
Finally.
Wow, Teen Titans coming back. Fuck Batman. The Rocco says, fuck you, heifer. And it's like, oh, man. That's so rude.
Nice.
And the Invader Zim one I thought was fine.
I'm definitely going to watch the Invader Zim one. I used to like it. But again, I think that one I probably won't. Like, I mean, if you showed that one to me 10 years ago, I'd probably lose my mind. Or, like, 15-ish.
That's
20,
fair.
almost.
It could be because I'm 29 now. But, like, I still think the Invader Zim gags were, like, good. Like, the Gur bits were good. The Dib and Zim things were good. Dib's dad is in it a lot, like, pretty heavily featured, and it's pretty
Professor
good.
Newtonium or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, give them both a watch. They're both on Netflix. So, Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling, and Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. Give those a watch.
Nice. Yeah, I think Invader Zim might have one of my favorite episodes of television, or like one of the funniest gags in one for sure.
So
but
when they all turn to meat.
No, I was gonna say there's an episode called, I want to say it's from the second season, called Mysterious Mysteries, and it's like there's like an not X-Files, but like a reenactment show of like Bigfoots and stuff, and Dib goes on once with like footage of Zim, and he's like, this is proof that aliens exist, and he shows the footage and explains it, and then or maybe he doesn't show the footage because maybe he doesn't have it. That would kind of break the game, which is then all of the other characters that are involved come in and tell their version of the story that's like sympathetic to them or just to their character, and they're all very funny. And there's some things that like my sister and I still quote to each other from it because it's just so good. So
nice.
Yeah,
Right.
if anyone likes Invader Zim but doesn't want to see a whole movie, just go find that episode.
Right.
Can you watch that show on Netflix, like the old Invader Zim?
I don't know.
They should do that. But again, it'll probably be on some sort of Disney-specific
Nickelodeon's exclusive streaming service.
Nick Plus or whatever.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's on. Oh, it's on Hulu. It's on
okay.
Hulu. There
Nice.
you go. So if you want to watch Invader Zim, go on Hulu.
It's worth your time. I think Invader Zim was a fun show. It really, like, it started the whole Hot Topics thing. So, like,
yeah,
I think it's more or less disappeared from pop culture, except for Hot Topic. They're never going to get rid of it.
Hot Topic has held on to Invader Zim since 2001, and they will never fucking let go. You could find your Gur wristband, you can find your Gaz T-shirt, you can find whatever you want at Hot Topic for Invader Zim.
Yeah. Cool. I want to rec. Excuse me. I want to rec a show that I watched. Excuse me. All the episodes of Pretty Quickly. I finally, not finally, because it's only been a week. Or you know what? I'll rec two things. First one, I watched about half of season 3 of Glow. I think it's pretty good. Like, as good as the last seasons. I've always enjoyed that show. But I would say for people that like listen, I mean, not that it's like, I'd say everyone would like Glow too. But season 1 of The Boys on Amazon Prime, I've watched all 8 episodes and I love it. And I've talked about it before because I had read the books back, a year-ish ago when I heard that this was a thing. I bought like the first 3 like collections, and it's really good. And I think it's a really good version of it's a really good adaptation of this show or this comic series because it's different enough from the books. In the first comic book, like first issue of the first book, the main character gets this guy, he recruits this character named Huey, and he's like, here, join the team. And then they're all there, all 3 of the other members of the team, and he's like, okay, let's go do a thing. And in this, you meet the other members of the team like one by one, and it feels like it's just a really smart way to introduce the characters. And then the overarching story with the 7, I think also it's very different from the comics. And I think it's just really like fun and satisfying. I loved it. I think that most people would enjoy it. If it's not like, I don't want to say it's like I don't know. It's very explicit, but not nearly as explicit as the comics. Like in the comics, there's characters that, just say like, fuck every sentence just cuz. And in this, there's characters that like swear more than others, but I wouldn't say it's too much. There's a fair amount of like, male nudity in the first episode, so get ready for that. But yeah, besides that, I just think it's super funny. And it's a great like, kind of critique of superheroes. I think the Homelander will go down as one of the most like one of everybody's favorite characters in a long time for reasons that aren't necessarily worth getting into right now. But yeah, it's cool.
Okay. I have to watch it. I have to watch this.
A lot of people have been asking us to do something about it on the show, but not everyone, or not like we haven't. Up until yesterday, we hadn't seen it all. Like, I hadn't seen it all, and DJ hasn't seen it. And I feel weird with shows doing them immediately, because it's like, well, a lot of people aren't going to watch this, in the first week. And then there's a lot of people that just don't want the whole thing spoiled for them. So
we did like our Stranger Things a couple weeks afterwards. So
yeah,
maybe we'll talk about it or something.
Yeah, I think eventually it'll come up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say that's fun. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have that, then you can enjoy it.
I do have a 6-hour flight I'm going to be on. I could crank out some episodes while I'm on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Although it is one of those weird shows to watch on a flight where, like, you're getting into it and then, like, something, you don't want everybody else to judge you for...
Oh, yeah.
But get what you can.
Whatever.
Yeah. I think people will more or less enjoy it. What are we doing next week? Next week is 89?
Batman 89, yep.
Yeah.
Which will drop in like 2 days after this pod drops.
Pretty much, yeah. It was a
We're
weird
like a
week
week
because
behind.
I was sick for the end of the week, and DJ was out of town for the beginning, so we just had trouble getting on our schedules. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And
I don't know.
I'm gonna be at D23. So if
Very
you're there,
exciting.
come say hi for all our LA fans or people who are like going to D23. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully I can see some stuff. Hopefully all these panels don't fill up with it. Do you know they have overnight queuing at D23? Can you imagine if they had overnight queuing at Comic-Con? It would be a madhouse.
Well, you know what? Actually, now that you think about it, they did do that with. I know they did that with whatchamacallit, with what was it? Not D23. Star Wars Celebration. I'm pretty sure they had that for like panels in previous years. So yeah, it's pretty. I would hate it, but
I'm probably not going to get to see like the Mandalorian or any of the cool Disney Plus stuff, but whatever.
yeah. But it's all right.
Not queuing up overnight. Not bringing a sleeping bag. I got a hotel room.
Yeah.
I'm paying for that shit. Anyway.
I will not be there, so everyone who isn't there and me, we won't see each other, but we'll all get to commiserate together in spirit.
Yeah.
But Comic-Con's coming up soon, so
yeah, it is.
that'll be
I'll
the
be there
next
too.
thing. We're
for a
within
day.
like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because it's beginning of October, so that'll be fun.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. So this is good. We'll see everyone next week.
Same bat time, same bat place. Until
Yeah.
then, I have been, I'm at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
All right, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woo.